Gotta crawl to the ugly bug ball, to the ball, to the ball, and the happy time we'll have there. One and all, to the ugly bug ball. Hello, everybody. It's summertime, summer magic time, and I'm really excited to be sharing this film with you guys. And I'm just gonna hold on and see if Jared's around. Hi, Elmer. How you doing? And once Jared is in, we'll go ahead and get started. But thanks for joining in, everybody. This is our third Hayley Mills film that we're doing. And Jared just sent me his request. And I'm going to let him. I always love this part, right when Jared comes online and we get to see all his merch. There he is.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, getting a little bit of interference, it sounds like.
Oh, it is? Okay, that's what I wanted to test it because I have an air conditioner on.
Oh, okay.
But I can turn it off.
Yeah, no worries. Is it that hot? You're in Glendale, right? Or North LA?
Yeah, it's pretty warm. Well, I mean, and I don't have, in my apartment, there's no central air, so.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still, let me turn it off.
All right.
You still get it.
And then you'll come right back?
Yes.
All right. I'm just adjusting my thing here. Well, yeah. So summer magic today. While Jared's doing that,
Is that any better?
Yeah, sounds great. So how's everything going?
Good. Warm, but good.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I mean, it's summer in South Texas, so
Yeah.
yeah, we've been over 100 degrees ever since the middle of April. So that's just how it is.
Gosh. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not even close to being over 100 degrees here, but still.
Yeah. It's crazy hot, but that's just the way it is. I went out for a walk this morning, sweated off a couple pounds. It was a fun walk. I went to I walked around, like they're doing a lot of work at the Alamo and renovating the Crockett Hotel. So I just went down to check that out and see what cool new Davy Crockett stuff was going on down there.
Do you live that close to the Alamo? You can just walk?
No, it's about 30 minutes drive down there. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I took a few pictures, so I'll make a Davy Crockett post one of these days. But yeah, it was nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. So summer magic. You ready to start talking about Hayley Mills again?
I mean, she is fantastic, and she makes
Yeah. Yeah, she does. We've done The Parent Trap, and we did the Moon Spinners, and now this is Summer Magic. And how appropriate is it that we're talking about summer magic today?
I know. For everyone who didn't know, I texted Brian today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just realized that today is July 7th, which is actually the day that Summer Magic was released in 1963.
59 years ago.
59. Almost
Yes.
as old as Brian, right? I mean,
Whoa. Almost old as Chris, my podcast co-host. Oh boy, let's see. 59 years. So remember that when we talk about the scene and the song Femininity.
Right.
This film is 59 years old. So before we get started, let's just kind of greet everybody. I saw Elmer in here. Chris is here. He says, hiya, Hayley fans. And every Disney flick says, hello, everyone. Oh, that's you. Disney Info for All is in San Diego. Yeah, well, quit bragging.
Well, I did live in San Diego for 6 years before I moved,
Yeah,
and it was beautiful.
it is. It's always beautiful there. Yeah, I have an aunt that lives in Del Mar, so uh,
Oh,
that's
that's where
that's
the
nice.
surfing is for
Well,
sure.
yeah. So Chris asked if I made myself a legend forevermore at the Alamo. No, I didn't get shot and die defending Texas's freedom. Not this
Well,
week.
did you go to the basement though?
No, no. I didn't even enter the Alamo and get the opportunity on a tour to ask when we could go see the basement. There's no basement in the Alamo.
No, it's not basement in the Alamo.
Well, we're not talking about Pee Wee's Big Adventure. We're going to talk about summer magic today. And like we always do, let's show off our stuff. And I think in the process of showing off our stuff, we're going to talk about the movie quite a bit. So, but before we do that, we're going to we did a little bit of like historical research, but not as much. We really wanted to make this more participation focused. So
Hmm.
we're gonna just do like a really brief intro and then just start talking about our favorite scenes and why we love this movie so much. So and then we'll end off with we'll pick our favorite songs and we're gonna rank the Haley Mills films 1 through 6. How Jared and I ranked them, and so that'll be right at the end. So make sure you stay tuned in, or you can if you got stuff to do, feel free to come back and join us later. We'll go for about an hour, hour and a half, like we usually do, unless my phone dies.
Is it plugged in?
No, but I will. I'll plug it in if I need to. I'm at 100% battery, so
Okay.
yeah. So that'll be at the end. We'll rank them at the end. So let's what do you got, Jared? Show us what you're sharing today.
Well, I got typical what I normally have for all of these. So I have it on VHS. This was the one that was released later on in the Haley Mills collection. This is volume number 5, Summer Magic. And then, of course, my favorites are these old releases on VHS.
Wait, you said volume 5? Did they only release 5 Haley Mills films on that label?
No, it's volume 5 of. So I don't know if you can see. Own the entire Haley Mills collection. That Darn Cat, Parent Trap, Pollyanna, Moonspinner, Summer Magic. Oh,
Oh, so
yes, they did. They did not
okay.
do. They did not do In Search of the Cat.
Castaways. Yep.
Wowza. Well, I snuck my In Search of the Castaways down here. I stuck it
Okay.
in there.
Cool.
And then, of course, the beta cassette, the DVD. And the thing about the DVD, of course, when it comes to Disney DVDs, they were always bare boned for the most part. But they did finally release in the widescreen, the 1.75 to 1 for the 16:9 televisions, which may not seem huge, but it is absolutely huge because the releases that they did for That Darn Cat, for Moon Spinners, and for In Search of the Castaways were all cut up and fill the full screen.
That's right.
Then I downloaded a poster off the internet, printed it out. And
All right. I started that tradition. I love it.
You did.
That's a great poster. That's the show that again. That poster is, yeah, it's kind of like the lobby card, but a little different. They're so creative with these poster releases. There's so many different ones.
Although Haley Mills likes to wink, because I feel like that's very Pollyanna.
Yeah.
As well.
And
but
very Haley Mills.
She's a flittering in the romantic whirl of her own.
Yeah, on my lobby card, it's Haley's in a whirl, breezing through her 16th summer.
And then the final thing I have, and I'm pretty sure you have it as well, is the soundtrack
Yeah.
record.
What a great album. Love
It's
that
such a
album.
good album.
So I have of course, I had the DVD. I showed that to you.
Mhm.
Oh, and I have the album that you just showed us.
It's
So
such a good album.
yeah, I'm gonna open that up here in a second. And then I've got a couple 45s. This one's really cool.
Oh,
Uh, I thought I had the one that I shared on Instagram today, the one that's on the front porch, but I couldn't find it. Maybe I don't have it. So this is just there's a single track on each side. You got Flittering and Beautiful Beulah. I think it's a single track on each side. The Vista labels are so cool. Look at that. Love
mm-hmm.
that. Yep, Flittering on one side and then Beautiful Beulah on the other. And then this other one that I have is kind of like a promo from um, a record made specially for Alcoa Rap. Isn't that like a aluminum foil company?
That maybe so.
So it's just like uh, this record's interesting. It just has a lot of clips. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's like 3 bands on this side. Not the full song,
They're
but
just they're clips
yeah,
of the
clip.
songs.
Yep, on the front porch, Pink of Perfection, Femininity on this one, and you got 4 tracks on this one, 4 bands:
So you
Summer
got
Magic, Flittering, Beautiful Beulah, and Ugly Bug Ball. So
wow.
I'll
You
play
know,
that for you guys one of these days and share that with you.
looking at the cover of that particular one that you just showed,
Hmm.
um, and then just thinking about this movie in general, this movie, I think more than any other movie, reminds me of Disneyland.
Oh yeah,
Like, look at
totally
all that.
does.
Look at the font. It's just like walking down Main Street. You hear what is it, Flitterin', when you're walking down Main Street, or
Yeah, Flittering. You also hear Beautiful Beulah. I've heard that on Main Street. I've also heard one other song. Which one is it? I'm sure Chris knows.
yeah,
Let's see.
like
The bag. I need some help. Oh, Beautiful Beulah. That's the other one. Or did I say that already?
yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah. Maybe part of the Summer Magic song. Yeah, that's it. Flittering, Beautiful Beulah, and Summer Magic. Those are all in the Disneyland Main Street Loop when
Oh
I
yeah,
was a pass holder, and I
or
think it was on. I think it was on the loop from like the early '90s to 2012. I want to say like 1990 to 2012. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean,
Chris.
I was a pass
Yeah.
holder from 2010 to 2012, and I remember walking down Main Street and hearing the songs from Summer Magic, and I would just tell my kids, "That's Summer Magic music, you guys."
I love it. Those are the Easter eggs that I love. But also,
Yeah,
it's just very, um, it's just what Disneyland is. Chris did say that the song "Summer"
yeah.
plays on Main Street.
Oh, so 20 years. Yep, 92 to 2012. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, and that whole loop is on his website. I believe it's in chapter 2 or 3. Chris can type in the comments where that is. And yeah, great little tidbit there. That's a fun fact from Miss Caters. Don't forget that Mr. Popham's name is on the Emporium door at the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, uh-huh. It says the Magic Kingdom Emporium, Osh Popham proprietor. That's such a cool little shout out to the film.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so I've got the lobby card set, which I'll kind of go through as I talk about the plot a little bit. Not a lot. Okay, so here's that album. Oh, this one we already saw, but they also released. Now here's where I'm going to kind of go on a tangent. They have this Summer Magic player piano sing along.
Oh
So
my gosh.
if you guys know, I mean, everybody's seen this film, hopefully, but one of the opening scenes, the the they have to swap out their regular piano, the one that Gilly's all bummed out, like, that, what am I going to compose on?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
can't just compose on a guitar. So uh, it turns out that Mrs. Carey sold their regular piano for $150 plus a swap, and the swap was a player piano. And uh, that the player piano thing in this movie is so fun, Like, so this album is all the songs from the Walt Disney films in player piano arrangements, and on the back it has like all the lyrics. So you know how player pianos work, right? You put the roll on
Hmm.
the piano, like right here. There's a little example, and it kind of works like a music box, right? Where the holes in the paper signal what keys that are going to be pressed down, but alongside there's words that you can sing along to. And so that's kind of what this record does. It gives you all the lyrics so you can listen and sing along. And
Who's the boy in that picture leaning against the piano? Is that the one who delivered
I,
the piano?
is it the piano boy?
So yeah, the one who like had eyes for Nancy.
Oh yeah, probably.
It's
Oh my
weird.
gosh, that is so funny. I think of that guy as all of us if we were ever like going to Haley Mill's house and like swapping out a piano, because
From
his dad is always like, son, mallet, strap.
that scene always uh, was weird to me. I mean, I never delivered pianos, but I'm like, oh, you're so violent with with that piano. You're just like ripping the leg off. Here we go.
Yeah, I know. It's like I didn't realize it was they could take a piano apart that fast and deliver it. So, anyways, what I wanted to kind of mention briefly here is the nostalgia for player pianos at the time. I mean, player pianos were really popular like in the early part of the 20th century. And when Summer Magic was released, it was kind of a fad. People were getting back into player pianos in the early 60s. So there was some nostalgia for it. And it was kind of a smart move by Walt to include a player piano and then make this record part of the musical release for the film. Now, Disneyland itself is no stranger to player piano music. In fact, ever since day one, there's been a player piano in the park. I think for a few years there was one missing, but Disneyland had a Chase and Baker player piano on opening day at the Wonderland Music Store. That store kind of moved a couple times. Chris can fill in the blanks here, but I believe it was on Main Street until 1960, then moved to Town Square and stayed there in its location on Town Square until 72. And in 1972, it moved to Bear Country and played Oh My Darling Clementine like a million times in the Wilderness Outpost. And then finally retired like in 1986, I want to say. So, but a few years later, a Koinola C2 player piano showed up on the second floor in the Golden Horseshoe, and that's still there today. And it used to play, like if you go up to the second floor, have you ever seen it up there?
I have, but I feel like it was pushed off to the side and like
Yeah. It
table.
I've been in there when it played before. It's really cool.
Well, there was the other painting that was in there as well from this film.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Golden Horseshoe has some serious summer magic ties.
But last time I was in there, it's not in there anymore.
The
The
piano?
the painting.
The painting is gone. You
Um,
seriously? Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yep. Unless I'm looking in the wrong place.
It's
Uh,
right behind, where the bar is.
yeah. No, it's gone. I actually went
Oh, okay.
with Jim and we looked for it and it was not there.
So Miss Cater says at the bar, and Ryan says the painting from the movie used to be at the Golden Horseshoe. It used to be, yeah. So I guess it's no longer there. But yeah, we'll talk more about that scene. Anyways, to finish off the player piano stuff, there's this other album here called You Two Can Be the Life of the Party. So Disneyland Records were big on this. In the late 50s, they released a couple of these albums. This one's volume 2. And it's basically just a bunch of player piano songs with the lyrics that you can sing. This album's hilarious because not only does it give you the music, it came with this little folder inside, a 16-page pamphlet with all the lyrics and also full of like helpful hints for hosts and hostesses and all these party games you can play with all of these fun little drawings by, I believe it's Roy Williams drew a lot of these. See?
Very 60s.
Yeah. Yep. So I thought that was cool. And on the back of this album, it's so funny. It's like directions on this album, right? It says, number 1, if you are reading this in a record store, purchase the album immediately. 2, take it home with you, and the first time you have a party or the first time you are invited elsewhere for a party, be sure to have the record handy and then surreptitiously place the record upon your host record player or your own if you are the host and start her up.
I am such a terrible party goer then because I've never done that.
You've never played records at a party?
I've never purchased a player piano record and brought it to a party like it tells me to do. So I'm pretty bad party guest, but that's all right.
Okay. So that's that one. There's also this other Hayley Mills record here that's got like a few Summer Magic songs on it. Do you have this album?
I do not.
So it's got Parent Trap and Castaway songs.
I do have this album. It's not Summer Magic. There's no song from Summer Magic on it. But it reminded me of it because it's Burl Ives.
Oh, yeah.
The Burl
That's so
Ives.
funny that you have that record because I have it too.
That's awesome. This is a great
yeah.
thrift store find a couple months
Oh,
ago.
nice.
$2.99.
This has my most favorite Burl Ives song on it. On side 2.
Okay, which one? Constantinople?
Mersey Dotes.
Mersey Dotes.
I can't even. I sing the lyrics, but it's like da 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 da.
Yes, I've heard the song.
Yep, I love that song. So, really excited to record this record, and maybe I'll share this one with you guys because I can't share the tracks from Summer Magic. That album is available on iTunes. So, send me a DM if you want a copy of the. Well, actually, I can share this one with you guys. If you want the player piano sing-along stuff, send me a DM and I'll give you a copy of that. How's that?
Hey, that
Yeah.
sounds DM good.
All right. Well, let's dig into the film here a little bit. So I'll just really quickly go through the movie. It's the anniversary today, 59 years old, released on July 7th, directed by James Nielsen. This was his first feature film. We talked about him when we discussed the Moon Spinners, but he also did Bon Voyage, The Moon Pilot, and Bullet Griffin. Did that one too. We got to do Bullet Griffin one of these days.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
You said Moon Spinners. Moon Spinners was released July 8th, 1964.
Wow. A year and a day later?
A year and a day later, yeah.
Wow. As long as it took to build Disneyland, huh?
There you go.
Well, let's see. Sally Benson wrote the screenplay and adapted from a book called Mother Carey's Chickens, a novel written by Kate Douglas Wiggin in 1911. So that kind of gives you the time frame for this film. It's like early 20th century, you know.
Well, the time frame is rag.
What do I say, Elmer, every episode that we're gonna do Bullet Griffin? He does. Yeah, I know. I'm so bad. But yes, it's a great movie. Time frame, early 20th century, but more specifically, At the beginning of the film, it says place, Boston, time,
Rag.
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 Rag, when it was popular back then. I mean, it's still pretty popular, I think. There's still a great following for rag. I love it. And this film is loaded full of it, full of rag. So this movie was both produced by both Walt Disney and Ron Miller. And the cast, of course, I think the cast is really what draws folks to this movie. Not as great a cast as Pollyanna, I think, but still, it's up there. You
Sure.
got, of course, Hayley Mills in her fourth Disney film, and we're going to rank all of Hayley Mills' films at the end. So we'll talk about all the other movies she's been in later. And then, of course, Osh Popham. Hayley Mills is Nancy Carey. Osh Popham is played by Burl Ives, and this was his second Disney film. So Dear to My Heart was his first. And of course, I mean, we could probably do a whole show on Burl Ives, but you know, he's just like a Walt Disney type figure for me. He's just like, yeah, that lovable grandpa guy with a great voice. You know, Mr. Snowman guy in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Exactly.
And Margaret Carey is played by she's the mother, Dorothy McGuire, who we know from Old Yeller, Swiss Family Robinson. And one interesting thing about Dorothy in this film is that she did not actually sing the song Summer Magic in this film. It was dubbed by a woman by the name of Marilyn Hubin. And I guess she just sings better than Dorothy does.
My whole life has been a lie.
No. Did I ruin that for you?
No.
Sorry.
Darn it, Walt.
Oh, I know. Every once in a while that has to happen, right? You know, just ask Marnie Nixon. She would be out of a job if she didn't sing for didn't she sing for Audrey Hepburn and My Fair Lady? I want to say
I have to look that up.
she's the one that sang. Chris knows the answer to that, but yeah, Dorothy McGuire should be a legend. You're right. I don't know why she is not a legend. Her, Nancy Olson, Vera Miles, lots of Disney ladies snubbed by whoever chooses Disney legends these days. Okay, Osh's wife, Mariah Popham, she might be my favorite character in this movie.
Me too.
Una Merkel, of course, from The Parent Trap, and also a small role in a Tiger Walks. Yeah. And Deborah Wally is Julia Carey, the cousin. We saw her, I believe, in Bon Voyage, which came out a year before this one. So this was her second movie. And Eddie Hodges plays Gilly Carey, the son. Gilly, I just want Gilly. I just want Gilly. Pop, there's a boy up here. Okay, we'll get into scenes. Okay, pretty soon. There's a great story about Eddie Hodges. I mean, he was, of course, in The Happiest Millionaire. Loves to wear turtlenecks in every Disney film he's in.
But at least in this movie, he got to be in more than one scene.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What happened in The Happiest Millionaire? Why did he die?
Like I'm not crapping on Happiest Millionaire, but that's the one thing that bothers me about that film is that those two brothers, they're kind of pointless.
Yeah, they pretty much sing that watch your footwork.
Yep.
Better learn to bob and weave, and then accidentally hit one of Cordy's boyfriends. Yeah, and then they give him a steak to put on his face, and he bails.
Then they bounce. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want any part of this. I need some femininity around here, or I'm not sticking around. All right. Eddie Hodges was in The Happiest Millionaire and also in Johnny Shiloh. He was like that,
Oh,
like a Confederate spy, I believe.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. A small role, but fun. It was fun to see him in that. So if you
Uh,
want to see it,
yeah, I was just going to tell everyone track down Johnny Shiloh and watch
yeah, if you want to see Eddie
that.
Hodges in a non-singing role, it's cool because he's a really fine actor. In fact, you know how he was discovered? If you have the Summer Magic album, right? Open it up, right? And he's got a little biography in there, along with Burl Ives, Deborah Wally, somewhere in there. Deborah, there she is, about wanting to put the moves on James Stacy, I think, and Hayley, of course. So there was a talent scout walking along Fifth Avenue. He happened to spot Eddie. I guess he was singing, but he signed him up for 7 weeks on a show called Name That Tune. So in the 7 weeks' time he was on that show, he earned about $25,000 in prize money. Meredith Wilson's wife was watching that game show and said, "Hey, Meredith, or honey, he should be the guy to play the role of Winthrop in The Music Man." And so Eddie, they got in touch with Eddie, and he read for the part and got that part an hour later. So he was the opening cast on The Music Man on Broadway.
Wow.
So
See,
yeah.
The Music Man, my dad was a giant fan of The Music Man. So when we were young, every time we watched, well, not every time, but a lot of the times he picked and it was Music Man. And we were like, oh, Music Man again, Music Man again. But now as an adult, it is absolutely my favorite.
Oh, I love watching it.
It's so fantastic.
Hmm. My kids did. My daughter's senior year in high school, she was Marion Peru,
Really?
and both of my boys were in the ensemble. So it's so much, a lot of great memories in that. I just love it. I wish they never filmed that though. I guess there was some sort of copyright issues where they couldn't record it.
Oh, that's a bummer.
So,
My dad in high school, he played Harold Hill, and I think that's why he was such a fan of Music Man. But I just recently discovered, or he just recently discovered, somebody had audio of it and put it to like photos that were taken of him, and that was really cool to see.
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really cool to hear him. You know, I wasn't alive, so
Uh-huh.
it was cool to see that and hear him.
Who else we got in the cast here? Peter Carey was played by Jimmy Mathers, and I think Chris mentioned that that's Jerry Mathers' younger brother. Of course, Jerry Mathers was the beaver in I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah. Well,
No,
uh,
leave it to Beaver.
and Jimmy Mathers was Lord Farquaad in Summer Magic.
Really? What?
We
He
had
was in this movie?
no Jimmy Mathers' hair
Yes.
in Summer Magic
Oh my gosh.
looks
His
like Lord
his
Farquaad.
Buster Brown hairstyle. Oh
Yes,
my gosh, yeah. Okay, is that how they got the inspiration for the Shrek guy? Is that what you're talking-
I can only imagine.
Wow, okay. All right, a couple more names here. We got Charles Bryant, played by James Stacy. He actually did another Disney film in 1983, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Mm,
He was a bartender in that. Michael J. Pollard, who is Digby Popham. I love his character. He's just kind of a soft-spoken, kind of easy, kind of going kind of guy.
yeah,
Uh,
surprised to see that like he acted the rest of his life.
yeah, he was in Bonnie and Clyde. That's where I recognized him from.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great movie. He had a little role in Bonnie and Clyde, and then you have Digby's sister, Lolly Joy Popham, played by Wendy Turner. She didn't really do a whole lot. after
No.
this or before. She was 16 when this was filmed. And then lastly, the last person I'm going to mention is, of course, Tom Hamilton, played by Peter Brown. I recognized him in another Disney movie, also A Tiger Walks with Una Merkel. They were both in that. But very handsome man, huh? Peter Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I think Hayley Mills won that contest with Julia.
Well, it's not like the other guy was like,
No,
oh,
yeah, yeah. I mean, he was. I think if Tom Hamilton showed up first, then Julia would have gone after him. But it was Charles Bryant who showed up first. So fresh out of Harvard, ready to teach high school in Beulah.
beautiful Beulah.
Yeah. All right. The music, of course, we got to talk about a little bit. Richard and Robert Sherman, of course, wrote all of the songs, and then they were scored. The score was by Buddy Baker. And just real quick, the orchestration was by Walter Sheets and Bobby Hammock. And I always like to give Bobby Hammock a shout out because Bobby Hammock is the gentleman that orchestrated the music for It's a Small World. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, so he had a nice little job in Summer Magic, which has a great score.
It's
Uh,
a fantastic score.
yeah, and of course on the album you've got Buddy Baker and Bobby Hammock's work, but also Camerata had a lot to do with this album. Mostly the overture, which is like the first track on this album, which is just a wonderful piece of music. That Camerata had a Tutti Camerata had a lot to do with that, and he was also like a vocal supervisor on Summer Magic. Probably working with Hayley Mills, I think.
Yeah, because she wasn't like, she didn't
Yeah.
really care to sing in Parent Trap.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then she
Right.
did. And then she became like a little, what, a mini pop star? Or,
Yeah. She released a couple of albums like Let's Get Together and then Teen Street with Maurice Chevalier. Yeah, and I think through that coaching she got with the Sherman Brothers and Camerata, not even close to Annette status, but she held her tunes pretty well in Summer Magic, I think, and that's mostly due in part to Tutti Camerata helping out.
well, I certainly enjoy it.
Oh, really?
I know we're mixing films, but
Yeah. So the Sherman Brothers really did a number here. All these great songs, ranging from ragtime to ballads. And Walt just got caught up in their enthusiasm for this, for their songwriting, and he said, "Hey, you guys, let's turn this picture into like a semi-musical." Now, I guess that's my argument with this film. Is it a musical? I think semi-musical is the right way to do it because there really isn't a whole lot of choreography in this
but
film.
I don't know. There are 7 songs.
There's
And
7 songs.
7 songs. And just because you
Yeah,
don't have necessarily choreography to be a musical,
yeah. Now, I know that Dave Smith said that it's one of the earliest Disney musicals, and Walt called it a semi-musical. Um, just in my opinion, I just think like I'm wondering like why Walt called it a semi-musical, and my only explanation would be is because there's just not a lot of dance numbers. Really, the only choreography in the film is probably during Femininity. So musical, yeah, yeah, I guess you can classify it as that. I was just really curious why Walt coined it as a semi-musical.
well, do you think maybe what if because this was the year before Mary Poppins came out. So if he had promoted this as a musical and then everybody showed up and maybe had uh, similar thoughts to what you had, like, oh, This doesn't seem
Yeah.
very musically, because like the Music Man came out in '62. That's a big
Hmm.
giant musical.
Right.
Um, so maybe like a semi-musical, even though it really was a musical, so that people wouldn't be disappointed, and then he can really advertise Mary Poppins as this.
Chris says the bugs danced. Yeah.
That's true.
That with some great camera trickery. Yeah. During the ugly bug ball. That's funny stuff. Especially the Beatles. Yeah, okay. All right, there's two numbers with dancing. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because the Sherman brothers had a little bit of trouble with the director Nielsen. They wanted a lot more choreography to accompany their songs rather than just what we see. Because really, when they're singing songs, they're either standing around or sitting. And but Nielsen didn't really work with them too much. I think they must have been with constrained with time and budget. Because I mean, when you put on a full fledged like Hollywood style musical, I mean, just for example, like Hello Dolly, you know, the amount of time and effort to create those dance numbers just probably wasn't there for Nielsen. So, you know, those I remember an interview with Barbara Streisand on that, like how many takes they had to do, like during the parade scene and things like that. That it just took forever. But it doesn't matter, right? The Sherman Brothers did a pretty good job with their next major film,
Yeah.
and that was a full fledged musical, Mary Poppins. So a little quick trivia for you: they also wrote in between Summer Magic and Mary Poppins. They also wrote a song for one other live action film and one animated film. So see if anybody in the chat can answer what films did the Sherman Brothers write for one animated and one live action. So yeah, I think we're ready to like get into the plot a little bit.
Well, plot loosely.
Sort of. Now, okay, the way I did this for the plot is funny because when I put together like my little plot summary, I
Hmm.
usually turn to like Leonard Maltin
Hmm.
or just like Wikipedia or something and just write it up in my own words. But I'm just gonna go ahead and read Leonard Maltin's plot summary. Okay?
Yes.
It's you ready? Here you go. The movie deals with the recently widowed Margaret Carey discovering that she has no money and moving her family to a rundown house in Maine. Gregarious Oshpopham, the town postmaster, helps them fix it up and doesn't press them for any rent. That's because the house's owner, a Mr. Hamilton, is away in Europe. He says Europe, and not expected for a long time. Hamilton shows up unexpectedly, but keeps his identity quiet when he meets and is attracted by Nancy Carey. By the time he explains who he is, everyone is friendly, and the Careys look forward to continuing their happy life in Maine. The end. He usually writes a good 3 or 4 or 5 paragraphs summarizing the plot and a very enthusiastic writing. Leonard Maltin did not like this movie. he, he just didn't care for it much.
Nobody is perfect.
No. And you know, it's I was really surprised that Leonard Maltin didn't write a whole lot. Yeah, Miss Skater's like, what? You left out 3/4 of the movie. So, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it through my lobby cards. All right. So here's the first one. All right. This is kind of the scene where they're in their, they just got the player piano and they're singing Flitterin' right here. So, you know,
Well, they're in their moving clothes.
yeah, they're in their moving clothes.
Hayley likes to pull her pants all the way up to her armpits because that's the
And
best way to start a movie.
yeah, this is interesting because it looks like they're singing Flitterin' on the player piano, but they're not wearing the clothes that they wore. Because in that scene, Eddie has a red turtleneck and and Hayley has different clothes on.
Oh. Well, maybe
But that's definitely the player piano.
the set photographer was
Oh, you
successfully
know what?
filming.
This is not flittering. This is Pink of Perfection. Sorry. They're already in their new house. So I got these out of order again. Sorry, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Well, anyways, they decide to move to Beulah because, well, for one thing, they're out of money. Um, and Mrs. Carey is widowed, and they got some just like they ran some bad financial luck. Their husband was sold some pretty crappy stocks that like didn't amount to anything. So they really can't afford to stay in Boston. That was the plan. So they, meanwhile, while this is all going on, Nancy's been writing to Osh up in Beulah about this yellow house that they visited when they were young. And she just has always loved this place and wanted to get out of Boston and get into some fresh air and stuff. Good, honest toil kind of living. And so she like writes these letters to Osh that basically they're desperate letters where she talks about her brother being like sick, like an invalid, and Peter being a rickety baby and this and that. But anyways, they agree to go up to the yellow house. And what happens, there's, Eddie gets a job working at the store because Osh Popham, he owns the store. He's like the policeman, the mayor, the town bricklayer, all these jobs. And so Eddie gets a job working with him. And then one day they get this letter that Julia's going to come, right? So she was like with the Fergusons, and so they take her in, and she's kind of snobby. She doesn't take to Beulah right away, not like Hayley does. But
Well, even Eddie didn't take to Beulah right away.
yeah, oh yeah, because he did say that he was, missing he'd miss it. His school was here and his friends and things like that. But I forgot to mention that Osh, he was really excited about the Careys coming to live up there because one funny thing about Burl Ives' character is that he talks a lot and he's an optimist, and he loves it. He's pretty sociable around folks, but I think in that small town of Beulah, and Digby even says, when they first roll into town, that no one's moved into Beulah for 5 years. And now Osh has like a new audience to
to tell
and so
stories.
he's like, yeah, you guys can live in the yellow house rent free as long as you take some time to converse with me and let me help you fix up the house a little bit.
Shoot, I'd take that deal.
Yeah, what was it, $60 a year at first, and then it turned out to be free?
I would have paid $60 a year just to have the option to be like, okay, Osh, I've heard enough, and not feel guilty by taking him up on his offer of free, and then feel like I have to listen to all of his stories.
Right. So back to Julia. This is them singing "She's the Pink of Perfection," with her 11 pink toes, and knock-kneed gazelle with a voice like a bell.
And little Peter's listening.
Oh yeah, he's totally listening, right? Because when she first arrives, she takes a good look at her knees and says, she's not knock-kneed Nancy.
My favorite line from that song is, "She has the face and the figure that's an envy of clowns." That's such a well-written song.
I know. The Sherman Brothers is so good with their lyrics. So first night, Julia's there, and by the way, Peter has this dog. He doesn't bite. His name's Sam. Sam. So apparently Sam had this tradition, like once the lights go out, he'd just climb up to Peter's bedroom and They didn't quite get that message to mom in time before she set Julia up in that room. And so Julia's already kind of freaking out because Nancy and Gilly are like sort of spooking Julia because, you know, there's a lot, they're like in the backwoods country, right? There's bears and skunks and foxes, right? Well, this bear of a dog scares the heck out of her, right?
She's not overly dramatic at all either.
Yeah.
You could tell from that picture.
Right. Oh my gosh, she couldn't stop crying the next scene, right, with mom. Good grief. She's very dainty and delicate. So it turns out like the whole rent situation, right? They're trying to fix up the house while they're living in it, and no, what is her name? Mrs. Carey. I'll just call her Mrs. Carey. I can't remember her first name.
Margaret.
But Margaret, yeah. Margaret confronts Osh and says, you know what? We can't pay you for all the things you're fixing. You know, we just can't. And Osh is like, don't worry. You just pay me when we're done. You know, like a typical contractor would say. We'll just total everything up at the end. You know, we'll be good. Don't worry about it. In fact, Mr. Hamilton sent me a letter, quotes, and said you can live rent free. He's so happy that you're fixing up the place. Because there's another kind of like plot thing going on where Osh is letting them stay there without Mr. Hamilton's permission. But along the whole time, he's saying that they are communicating with Mr. Hamilton. And Mariah knows something up. She knows something's not right, right? So instead of paying rent, Osh like fabricates this story about, well, all you have to do is like take this picture here and hang it up, and and put a little vase of flowers under it, and that'll take care of it. That you make this shrine to Tom Hamilton's mom, and everything will be good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can live rent free in the yellow house. Well, meanwhile, this guy right here, James Stacy, shows up from Harvard, all graduated from Harvard, you know, star football player, ready to take on the world. So what does he do? Gets a job teaching school at Beulah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what all Harvard grads do, right? Find small towns to teach K through 12 school. I don't know. I didn't go to Harvard, so I don't know what you do with that degree. But apparently, Beulah attracted him, and then in turn, he was attracted to Julia. So they do this whole fun party thing, and Nancy and Julia are you know, decide to put on this lawn party. And at the end of the party, they're all congregate on this, and what is one of the best scenes of the movie, I think, on the front porch, right? And Burl Ives is playing. Oh, his guitar playing here is just like to die for. I just love it. And Gilly's actually playing too, a little bit.
I love this scene because what other movie is going to stop down in the middle of a movie, have all its main characters sit on a porch and sing an entire song?
Exactly. Yeah. Let me get through this plot because there's so much fun things to talk about, like our analysis of this. So there's that's going on. So they're getting ready for this whole party to unveil the picture, kind of a ceremony. And then Tom Hamilton shows up, doesn't reveal himself to Nancy. She just thinks he's a dude passing through town in a cool car, which has Massachusetts plates, by the way. And then, you know, so Tom's just like, I guess he came back from China, even though Leonard Maltin says Europe, but he really was in China. And he's kind of surprised that someone's living in this house. He's like, this is what he finds out, that Osh was like kind of not being the respectable factotum that he should have been. So meanwhile, the girls are getting ready for the party, And here's Nancy and Julia teaching Lolly Joy how to be more feminine to attract a beau.
Because Lolly Joy only has this little nerdy little dress.
Oh my gosh, she came up in something hideous, right? So they're getting ready for the party, and then apparently Tom Hamilton was he went to meet Osh later to confront him about like who's living in my house, and Tom and Osh comes up with this whole story about I had to rent it to Nancy. She was just so nice. And so make sure you read her letters before you read the ones I wrote. so I it's not really said any time in the film whether or not he forgives Osh or Nancy, but does show up for the party, and that scene is just hilarious, which we'll talk about more because that's one of my favorite scenes. And then the film closes with the party, and the unveiling's been done, and so Nancy is dancing with Tom, and then Margaret Carey is hooking up with the Reverend right here, which I think is pretty cool. So Mr. Lord is pretty happy the Careys are staying. He looks pretty happy. I think if there was a Summer Magic 2, it would be them getting married. These two. Not Hayley and Mr. Hamilton, who Hayley's 16 and Mr. Hamilton is probably in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. So I don't know. It is 1910, so.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's the plot. And we are going to talk about like our favorite scenes. But before we do that, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. I know you have, Jared. Did we miss anything?
So you had asked about the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Ryan and Elmer got it right. Sword in the Stone and
Oh, yeah.
Merlin Jones.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah. I can't really pull one over on Chris or Elmer. They're just too smart. I know Brian gets some, and Miss Caters. You guys are all so smart. And you know why you're all so smart? It's because you are paying attention to each one of our live chats and all the facts we share.
I do. Here's the thing. I don't begin to think that I know everything about this stuff because I really don't. I learn stuff all the time when it comes to this, and I just love it. I just love that there are other people who actually love this stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's so fun that I love when as we're talking through the plot and people are like chiming in, like Chris, she was a good woman. Those must have been good letters. All these comments, they're making me chuckle so much. It's like, oh,
that horrid little.
You know what? I'm gonna leave that lobby card up, the front porch. I just absolutely love this scene. And Ryan was correct in saying that Robert Sherman he said that this was his most favorite song that he ever wrote. Yep. The older brother, Robert.
Mm.
Okay. So let's talk about our favorite scenes. So everybody in the chat, go ahead and type in what your favorite scene is, and we're just going to kind of laugh and talk about some of the. We didn't get too deep into the plot and talk about specific scenes and why we liked them, but Jared, you want to go ahead and share one of your favorites?
Well, hopefully you guys know that if I make fun of any of these movies that we are reviewing, I make fun of it out of love. You know what I mean? I think it's funny. But the scene, I love the scene when they first meet Ossian, and he puts the pieces together that Nancy has lied.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
One by one, he's meeting all of these kids, and he's like, oh, that must be the rickety baby. I think it sets it up for just a fun little I really do.
Yeah, because like, isn't I had to go switch my ceiling fan on real quick, but did you talk about Peter hanging from the tree?
No,
Okay, he's like, that must be the rickety baby. Look
that
at
must be.
me, wee.
Wait, although if
Oh,
I was Margaret Carey, I think I'd be a lot more upset with Nancy than she was. But they must have been really desperate to live in that house.
okay. There's a couple. Elmer's favorite scene is front porch, and then the scene with the falling ladder, Miss Caters. Okay, let's talk about those.
That's
Um,
actually the front porch was my second
yeah.
favorite scene.
So before we talk about those, since I kind of we'll go chronological here. I think my absolute favorite scene in this film is the Summer Magic song sequence. You're about 30 minutes into the movie.
Hmm.
They've been uprooted from Boston. They travel by train to Beulah. By the way, Peter Ellenshaw needs a shout out in this movie because everything you're looking at, which is not in the immediate like center of your attention, like right in front of you, everything in the background is all his work, all matte paintings, all paintings done on like a glass surface, right? And then everything, even when the train comes, like there's a shot of the train being really far away.
Right, right.
Everything around the train is matte except for the train. And then, of course, the 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 majority of this film was at the Disney studio. In fact, I think all of it was at the Disney studios. Even the lawn party scene.
Oh wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
distinctly the matte painting I distinctly remember is from the very last shot.
Oh yeah, which obviously, right, the house itself is all matte painting.
Hmm.
I mean, I wonder if they had dismantled the yellow house at that point.
Maybe that. And
They're like,
Scotty said the same thing. I love the party
yeah,
continues as the camera pans out. Like it's
yeah,
so true. It's
yeah.
a great shot.
It is a great shot. Yeah. Do I have the book Ellen Shaw Under Glass? I need to find that book, Ryan. I want it. It's a tough one to find, but I've heard about it. Yeah. So okay, and then and Miss Cater says D23 said he toured Vermont to do those scenes. Yeah, I remember hearing something about that. That's pretty awesome. So, anyways, back to this scene. Uh, so their whole life is kind of torn upside down, and there's a lot going on in that first 30 minutes. But then they're all settled into Beulah, and they have their which might be like their first night in Beulah, and they're all sitting down on the porch, right?
Hmm.
And Margaret Carey said something like, she's like, "Smell? Can you smell that?" And then they're just like relaxing, right? The movie just totally slows down for this moment, and she says something like, "I feel sorry for city people tonight," something corny like that. But then this song comes on, and it's just a nice little break in the film, which allows you to like kind of take stock of what's happened so far, and it's just one of those things I love about Disney movies in this time. It's not always like scene, one thing after another, bam, bam, bam. It's like one of the reasons why I love to watch this movie is that even the plot is kind of funky, right?
Right, right.
And I wrote down what I wanted to say here, so I don't sound like a dork.
I mean, that's why you wouldn't sound like a dork. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I sound like a dork, anyways, right? I guess I deleted what I wrote down, but um, it's just one of those moments where you can slow down and enjoy the simple things, kind of like smell the flowers kind of moment. That not a lot of movies these days have scenes like this.
No,
You
not at
know,
all.
it's like action. I mean, I love action adventure films. Don't get me wrong, but I love these movies so much more because really what these movies are to me, they're like they give you a chance to kind of escape normal life.
Hmm.
And when I escape and want to like dive into a movie that I've seen before and love, I just want to relax and just like unwind. And it's like that summer magic sequence with the song and all the scenes that obviously look like they're taken from the true life adventures, maybe B-roll footage or something, stuff they didn't use in the actual films. But it's just a fun nature scene. It's just allows you to like just take a breath, you know. And that's how I feel summer magic is. So I'll find that quote and I'll probably close with it. But anyways,
I feel the same way. I'm actually glad that you said that because I mean, that's my favorite part about this entire film. Like, I love Haley Mills in it. I love that it's simple. I'm fine that there's barely a plot. Um,
hmm,
and I like that. And the title is just perfect
yeah,
because it goes along with the tone. I also like the fact that it was a box office success, despite all the non-traditional ways that it was done, and even some of the critics panning, and even Haley Mills saying that it was not her favorite one to work on.
yeah,
It's
right.
just I don't know. It's a fantastic film to just sit down and enjoy some summer magic. As
Hmm.
goofy as that sounds.
Yeah, Miss Cater says agrees. It changes the tone and it's such a great song. And it's like on the front porch is the same thing. It's
Yep.
just you just got done with this lawn party scene, and now it's which is a wonderful scene, and it just kind of like which is kind of like the dinner portion. Like if you compare it to like a meal, and this on the front porch is like the dessert.
Hmm.
And I compare this movie like you mentioned earlier about Disneyland, like this record, the font.
Yep.
This movie to me, when I watch it, it's like I'm going to Disneyland. One thing, like you're right, it's the font, the music that you hear on Main Street, but also how I tour Disneyland is kind of like how this movie is kind of like a microcosm of how I enjoy Disneyland because I don't go to like rush from ride to ride. I go to enjoy being there. I go to enjoy like the Grand Circle tour, just get on the train, take everything in, you know. There may not be a whole central plot to like my visit, you know. There's
Hmm.
little places I want to go and hit, but I'm just along for this ride. And that's what summer magic is. It's, you know, the plot is corny, right?
So corny.
But there's so many scenes in this film that just like kind of like encapsulate how I feel when I visit Disneyland. It's just like it's just a movie I love to watch over and over again because I can relax and just enjoy the music, enjoy the characters, enjoy their environs. You know, I want to go to Beulah and hang out for a day. It's just so relaxing. I
Yep.
think that's kind of what I wrote down. But anyways, uh, someone had a favorite scene. Oh, the ladder scene. Do you want to talk about that one? You know what they're.
The
Do you remember that?
remind me the latter.
Okay. So, all right. So this whole movie, right? It's Mariah. So, okay. Osh Popham
Oh,
is
I
like
remember. Yes, I know
he
exactly what it is.
he's the eternal optimist, right?
Yeah.
And Mariah is like fire and brimstone. Like she even says in the movie, like she's like, I always expect the worst to happen, and I'm never disappointed. And Osh Popham is a silver linings kind of
Yes.
guy. So she knows that Osh and Tom Hamilton haven't communicated, and she's just trying to avoid like this disaster where Tom comes back and kicks them all out of the house. So she kind of instigates. One day she comes over for tea. So I'll let you take it over from there.
She comes over for tea so that she can spill the tea
Yeah, so she can spill the tea.
about Ossian.
Right.
And Ossian is like doing work around the house or whatever, and he's like, "Oh no, she's gonna like rat me out." And everybody's listening to her with because she didn't really talk to the Carries too much. It's all a lot through Ossian. And so when she comes to visit, they're all like listening to her, and she gets to the point where she's about to spill the
Spilled the tea.
spill the tea,
And she
and
she yeah.
Ossian knocks over. He's upstairs. He knocks over a ladder. I don't believe he wasn't on it. He just knocks over a ladder, makes a sound, gets on the ground, and everybody's like, "Oh no, let's run upstairs and see what's going on." And you're good with the quotes. You're good with the quotes.
Oh, he's like, it's my leg, Mariah. It's my leg. Get me home. Oh, cold, hard facts. And Hayley's like, I hate facts. I think that's a different scene, but anyway, they get him down to the truck, and it's like the whole time Julia, and this is where I start to like Julia a little bit more, and she's like carrying around this pink pillow. It's for his head. It's for his head.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many little fun things in the scene that I like, first Julia with the pillow, and then as they're going off, you see Mariah covering his head with her hat, like some
Mm-hmm.
shade. I just think that's so sweet. Even though they kind of have this like relationship where they're kind of like fighting all the time, she still makes, she still puts gingerbread and pudding on the table every day at 12 and is even like boiling strawberry preserves and shaving his head when he fakes an injury.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he is
Uh,
successful, and
yeah.
her plan is foiled.
Yep. It's delayed. All right. Okay. So another one of my favorite scenes is Chris's second one. All right. Picking out the portrait.
Yeah.
I love this scene so much. So he's already talked about like, okay, the he talked to Nancy about how to get the rent down to zero. You got to put a picture up. Well, he's made up this whole story, and he's got to pick out a picture that looks like Tom Hamilton's mom and frame it and get it ready for the celebration. So there's a scene. It's the day of the lawn party. It's after church, before the lawn party, and it's the Sabbath, right? So he's like, he gets this first picture, right? And the first picture is, he like turns it around and the music, like this really kind of like music that you would hear in maybe a risque establishment. I don't know. But it's like I think it's the first picture he turns over is the one that was hanging in the golden horseshoe, right?
I bel
I
I
can't
never
remember.
actually. Here's the thing: I've been to Disneyland several times and didn't know about it,
Oh, you didn't know?
and so
Yeah.
I never really went into the Golden Horseshoe.
Hmm.
And so then when I did hear about it, I ran to the Golden Horseshoe, and it's like,
I can't believe it's not there anymore. That makes me so sad. Well, anyways, that's not a picture that's gonna be good for the unveiling of Tom Hamilton's mom. And the next picture, he turns around and it's like, I've seen you before. Now, I did a little research into this second painting. It's a girl that's kind of like, she's like on like a chase lounge, kind of like one of those older, 19th century French kind of sofa, right?
kind of
I
like
think you call
Claire, what with Kate Winslet in Titanic.
it. Yeah, exactly. It's the Kate Winslet sofa. Okay. And so this girl is now we Chris and Ruthie and I, we did a Hayley Mills episode, and we thought that this might be Una Merkel in her heyday. But today I looked it up, and it's actually a real painting by Jacques Louis David, I don't know, 19th century French artist. And it's a portrait of Madame Recamier, who was a
You didn't know
19th
that?
century, what?
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. Oh, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that there was a painting in the Golden Horseshoe. Why would I know that?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if you studied 19th century French art in
No.
college, maybe.
I work in
But anyways,
a
yeah, it's Madame Recamier, and she was a 19th century French socialite known for her beauty and charm. It's not Una Merkel. And then the next picture is good old Nick Panagakos, Coal and Ice. Wow, 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 wow. And it's like he's blowing the dust off these pictures, like in time with the music. It's just so hilarious.
It's so bizarre. Like, why are these all just in his? Like, is it an attic?
Yeah, I don't know why does he have all these paintings, and how does Mariah not know? Of course, he's pretty good at hiding stuff, right? He hid all the letters from Tom that he was going to mail to Tom Hamilton in a box of men's underwear.
Yeah, but if he
So
has all these priceless art, why doesn't he like sell it on eBay or something?
I don't know.
I'm just
It
an
was
ideas guy.
yeah, new old stock. Oh boy. So he gets to the last picture, and it's like the music is like do 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 do. Wah! When he turns it around, it's Mrs. Griswold. And then Mariah comes in, and she's like, "Hey, I got supper on the table. What are you doing, Osh?" And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing with these women? It's the Sabbath."
Sabbath.
And he's like, "Well, I got to pick out a picture to hang." And she's like, "The only one fit for hanging is Mrs. Griswold. She was such a great woman. She saved everybody on that ship, that rum-running ship or whatever it was. All the captain and the crew were saved, but she went down with it." So that whole scene is so much fun. What about you? You got another one?
Well, see, mine kind of piggybacks off of the first off. You had mentioned that you and Chris and Ruthie had done the podcast about Hayley Mills. If you guys haven't heard it, it's fantastic. I think was it a two-parter?
The Hayley Mills was a two-parter, and they also did a whole episode on Summer Magic. Now we didn't really get too much in the history of the film or really deep into the characters, but if you want a great deep dive into Summer Magic, go back and listen to episode 99 of the Jiminy Crickets podcast, which I listened to this morning.
Very good. They're very good.
Really good. Really good. Very well done. Thoroughly researched.
So I know.
Yeah.
I listened to that and I'm like, oh no. Well, we're just gonna have fun tonight.
Yeah.
But basically, my other one, like, I love the front porch that everyone else said, and for the same reasons why you like why we like the Summer Magic scene, all that. Just we're kind of slowing down. But then my other favorites are just basically anything with Ossium and Mariah.
Oh yeah.
Where she's always
totally.
she's like picking at him, and he can't get mad because he's just a liar. He's an absolute liar. But especially the scene where she's going off on him inside in the house, and he's just taking it, and then she finishes her line, and the way that they shot it was so cool because you could see the stove in the background. Like, your pot's boiling. What is it? Your pot's boiling.
It's like, Mariah, your pot's boiling over.
Your pot's boiling over. He's like, oh no.
He's like, you should get back to your strawberry preserves. There's another scene where Nancy and her family come to the store to pick out a bunch of things, and this is when she first starts to get this idea, like, oh, I don't think Tom knows these people are living here, and she's about to spill the tea then.
Hmm.
And Osh is like, "Hey Nancy, you better give Mariah your shopping list. Take her mind off and what it's on." That's another great scene. Yeah, their relationship is so fun. Uh,
It really is fun. She's so
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Um,
She's just as good, if not better, in this movie as she was in Parent Trap.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree because they could be thankless roles, especially the Parent Trap one,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it just proves that how good of an actress she was to be able to make both those roles just pop and memorable. Because even
Yeah.
Mariah's
Yeah.
role in this one wasn't that big. It was mainly through Ossian's eyes through this film, and sometimes she'd pop up to remind him that he's lying and he needs to blah blah blah. But she's one of the first people I think of when I hear Summer Magic. So
Hmm.
that and the
Yeah,
terrible
absolutely.
haircut, the terrible hairdo on the boy.
On Peter.
Yes,
That's a fun scene too, where he goes to get his haircut.
yes, and I do not condone any bullying of any kind at all.
Yeah, right.
I'm that being said, I'm very happy that he cut his hair.
Yeah, sure.
If he wanted to keep it for the rest of the
Yeah,
film, that's fine. But
yeah.
I'm
It
glad
was
that he
kind of
made
like
this
the
decision.
Buster Brown. You expected to be walking around with a lollipop and a balloon, right?
Yes. The
Oh, the fifth head.
fifth head,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so that scene is so right. He's getting bullied by the boys in town because he looks like a sissy, like he's dressed like a girl in his Buster Brown outfit. Well, he overhears a father coming in on his wagon parked in front of the barber shop, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Barber guy, haircuts for the lot." And he sneaks into the barber shop with that man's four sons. So he comes back later to pick him up, and the barber's like, "That'll be $1.25." He's like, "I saying I got four boys. That's $1. Well, I cut five heads." He's like, "Are you saying one of my kids has two heads?" Yeah. I wish we got that's one thing about this movie that I wish there was more of, like, I wish we met more people in the town. Like, I try not to compare it to Pollyanna, but with Pollyanna you knew so many people in the town.
I agree. Summer Magic actually would have been a good television series.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel.
Like, I at the end scene with the party, I just wish I knew some of those people. Like at the very final scene of Pollyanna, as she's coming as the dot,
Yep.
Richard Egan is carrying her down the stairs. Like, that scene is so emotional because each piece of dialogue is by a person that you've fallen in love with during the movie. Like,
Yep.
and they may have only had like a minute or two. Like the one guy, right, with who's the calf's foot jelly guy. Like, do-gooders. That guy. He's like, he has a nice line at the end. Like, but you knew who he was,
Yep.
right? Yeah, I like your idea on the TV series.
It really could
Yeah,
because they they could have you could have branched it off. You could have stretched out this story, like maybe like a mini series even, but basically you
yeah,
could have branched out this lie. And then the one complaint I would have to say about this film is sometimes, especially I distinctly remember the first time I watched it, it was such an abrupt ending. Like the way that they were talking at the dance and then immediately cut and pans out. Um, you didn't get to know Mr. Hamilton at all. And so
mhm.
I kind of wish that there would have been maybe even one more scene. I don't know how they could have done it, but uh, I think a
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
show,
He,
TV show
I,
could
I
have
was.
helped.
He came in. His first scene in the film was like there was 18 minutes left in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, I had to plug in, so I'm off
I can
headphones.
I can hear you okay, and I agree with you, Elmer. Put it on Disney Plus now.
I know. Why is it not there? I just don't understand why.
Oh, and MS Cater said the same thing. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah. Cough, cough, cough. All right. My next favorite scene is the lawn party. Has to be one of the best scenes. I love it because, this man right here, Mr. James Stacy, on the front porch with Julia, an envious position to be sure. Deborah Wall is a beautiful lady. He shows up, right, and the girls are like immediately just like infatuated with Charles Bryant, and it's church has just ended, right? Let's just do a little timeline here. What's that?
Nothing.
Okay, let's do a little timeline. Say church started at 10, right? It's over by 11 or so. And
yeah.
they're all kind of just socializing outside of the church, and they invite him to like an impromptu lawn party without getting permission from Margaret. And so,
Well, and I like that, like when Nancy's inviting him and she's saying all the wrong words that
oh yeah,
Julie was
it's
like,
a total lesson in social etiquette, right? And the vocabulary necessary.
we're having this thing, affair.
It's all spur of the moment, impromptu. Yeah, great scene. It seems like they're really friendly at that point, Julia and Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
So they, affair. Hayley's so nervous around boys, but Julia, it looks like she's experienced a little bit more. I'll just leave it at that. Bon voyage. Beach blanket bingo.
Yeah.
So it cuts to like the next scene is the picture picking out scene with Osh and Mariah, but then after that it's party time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the ice cream that never melts.
Yeah.
Yeah, two scoops. And like, how did they get this thing already? Everything's like, okay, they got the ice cream made. They got a couple of those Pollyanna cakes sitting out there, lemonade, and the whole town is there, and they even had to set up a croquet thing on the lawn. Disney magic. Yep, that's movie magic, right?
Well, did they have to rent tables and chairs? Like where? Like did they have? Because this was at the it was at the Yellow House, right?
Yeah, it was at their place.
So
it's like, yeah, Margaret's like, apparently my girls are throwing a lawn party. You'll be sure to come, and everybody shows up.
But yet they don't have enough money to get decent looking wallpaper.
Yeah.
But they have enough money
that any idiot could hang, right?
This is the kind of stuff that's what I meant earlier, where it's like gently making fun of these kind of.
Yeah. So, but anyways, it's just one of those scenes. It's kind of like, it's not as awesome as the bazaar scene in Pollyanna, but it's another scene that you just want to like dive into your TV set and be at.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily socializing with Hayley, although I wouldn't mind that at all. But just being there. It just looks like such a fun scene. It's like a summer magic scene. It's like, again, my Disneyland example. That scene is kind of like, for me, that's like eating at the French market somewhere with a view of the rivers of America. It's just a nice time out. Let's relax, enjoy some ice cream that never melts. And some lemonade and a slice of cake. Oh my gosh, that cake looks good.
Not Pollyanna cake good though. That Pollyanna cake is mouth watering.
Oh yeah. It is, guy. You just want to be there. You want to be there eating cake, eating corn on the cob, eating watermelon, playing the games, jamming with grandma on the drums. This is turning into a Pollyanna show.
But one I like I like that there's that, but then also the whole scene with the croquet game is great
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Apparently, Haley thought by winning the croquet match, she'd win Charles, and she's like, "I won. I won."
Sorry.
Yep. All right. Any more favorite scenes? Yes. Whack. Oh my gosh! And then later on, after the front porch song is ending, and she goes up to the room, and she's all upset, because Julia's won Charles, and then she goes up to the room, and then it's all dirty. It's like, oh, our crate machine drawers over here. It's over there, not over there. She's so upset. And then she confronts Julia. She's like, "Oh, I thought you'd be in bed by now." They have this argument, and it's like, "Oh, what? You don't know how to play croquet. Oh, can you help me, Charles? I'm too weak and dainty." And then, yeah, she whacks her ball out. It's just fun. I can't quote that scene very well.
Um,
It's just so funny, though. I know what you are. You're jealous. Yep. And then right after that, oh, she loses it. Right? She loses it after and tells her the whole reason why she's there with them. Like the Fergusons, couldn't take care of her anymore. The Fergusons are bad people for selling the crappy stock and this and that. It is a catty scene, right? And they're at each other's throats. And then, good night, Chris. Yeah, thanks for chiming in. We're about gonna wrap things up here pretty soon. But then, there's a scene where Nancy is like, she spills the beans, and she goes running into Margaret and crying, and it's like, "Is it true?" Oh, and she's like, "Well, yeah, but we want you to stay with us, and I got a letter from George Ferguson saying you can go back." And she's like, "But I like it here. I'm happy here. I'll stay." And Nancy's like, "Please stay. Please choose us, Julia." In a matter of minutes, she's
in a
like,
matter of, because she was like, how she
yeah,
spilled the beans was very nasty.
yeah, it was. They were at each other's throats.
It was very nasty. And, I know that she just immediately felt bad, but,
Mm-hmm.
but still, you're right. It was very, very, in a matter of seconds, a complete 180.
Yeah. So that was I guess the final scene is really funny too.
Yeah.
Did you have another one that you picked out?
No,
No.
because I think
I
we
just love.
doubled up and all of that. So
Yeah, I love the final. The final scene is so funny because it's just everything. So much is going on, right? Tom's there, but nobody knows it's really Tom except for Osh. Hayley doesn't know, and it's time to reveal the portrait. And Tom has no idea what's going on. He sees the picture, and he's just like, "What is going on?" And it's just so funny, that whole scene.
I I feel like if this film was made today, that they wouldn't have shown us the picture earlier when he was selecting, thinking that it would be a bigger reveal at the end. But I'm so glad they showed us because we knew what was coming and we could enjoy the reactions more instead of dealing with our own reactions to it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. There's just so much going on in that final scene. It's like, first of all, you've got Lolly Joy, who is all ready to put her femininity lesson in practice, and then sweeps Gilly off his feet, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Skater says she watches this movie in the beginning of September because the movie ends at a Hollywood Halloween party. Yeah, that is odd too. Like, it's already fall.
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's the summer.
Summer's over.
That's the whole movie. It's the summer.
Yeah, it's the whole summer, right? And then you've got the reveal, and then you got the little thing going on where Osh gets Mariah drunk. Like she's basically, has she ever drinking liquor before?
I don't know.
I think that she downs it pretty quick, and then like immediately she's in La La Land. So
She
Osh
really
was just
is.
trying to dull the effects of the potential drama that's going to take place. I just Tom, he reacted. He was cool and collected with this whole thing. Is decides to dance with the yellow peril at the end,
Yellow Peril.
and she's like, "You're Tom, the Tom Hamilton. What are you gonna do to me? I'm gonna dance with you."
I'm gonna dance with you.
And then silver linings all around. Yeah. So, yep. Put a little Applejack into Mariah, and all's well that ends well. So, all right. Favorite song. What was your favorite song?
My favorite. Okay, so I would have to say, and it's only because it reminds me of Disneyland, is Flitterin'.
Yeah.
It's just it's a great song. It gets the movie started, and and every time I go to Disneyland, like that's the song I want to make sure that I hear. And so I appreciate that one. Plus,
Yeah.
the player piano, and you see the words, so you can actually sing along with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah. For the first time you watched the movie. I wonder if people in the theaters were singing along. Miss Cater's favorite is On the Front Porch. On the Front Porch for Ryan. Yeah, mine is kind of like a tie between Femininity and Ugly Bug Ball. I love Femininity, and I don't agree with some people think that song is not all that great, the lyrics specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It doesn't bother me too much because I always try to watch these movies with the mindset of the people it was made for, right? Even though these films are timeless to me, like the whole argument that like the lyrics, like the specific lyric was like hide the real you, like be pure, sweet, be demure, sweet and pure, hide the real you. I mean, that's just Nancy and Julia. They know how to win a beau, right? But they also know that femininity is what attracts the men of that time, and not to show all your cards right up front. They're playing the game that the men are playing with them. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Maybe it perpetuates stereotypes, but I don't know. That argument's weak when people say that because that just undermines the intelligence of the viewers who can understand that this is a movie that celebrates like a bygone era, and things aren't like that today. So
It's a very catchy tune.
yeah, it's got a great melody. Yeah, and of course, Ugly Bug Ball, which has just that's like the Buddy Baker slash. So Buddy Baker was working on this movie because George Bruns was too busy with like the World's Fair stuff, right? But Buddy Baker, George Bruns, they capture like that Disneyland sound.
Mm-hmm.
And the Ugly Bug Ball has so much of a Disneyland sound to it that I love it. I mean, every song is great.
Yeah, every song is great. My second favorite is On the Front Porch.
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
But Ugly Bug Ball is an interesting one to me because it doesn't necessarily. I don't think it necessarily pushes the plot along.
Right, yeah.
M. Skaters,
Okay.
I think.
A couple of Miss Skaters comments are coming in here.
Yeah.
She's so awesome. The song Femininity fits the era. I mean, the men wrote that song, but they knew what they were talking about. Yeah. It does fit the era. And then you don't like Ugly Bug Ball and fast forward every time. I said it. I don't take it back. Bam. Tell it like it is. You know, don't don't agree with us all the time. I love it. Yeah.
I agree.
I
I
mean,
was actually thinking about that when we were doing this one. It might seem like we just love every single one, but we're picking these movies. We're picking the ones that we like.
yeah, we are. We
Because
should
there's
do one we
definitely
don't like so much, huh?
we should just rip it to pieces. There are definitely some stinkers.
Yeah, there are. But I think we would have a fun time talking about it because some movies are so terrible that they're funny.
It's true. Like if you watch Mystery Science Theater,
Yeah, yeah. We could do something like that where we watch it, watch party, and just tear it to pieces that way. All right. Well, we're running along, so let's do our final thing. We're going to rank the Hayley Mills film 6-1. You want me to go first? Or are you ready?
sure. I'm gonna I'm gonna do it visually.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't do that. I guess I can go grab them real quick.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Okay. You have them, right? So you can do them for me.
I do. Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Jared. What do you got? Number 6.
So number 6 for me would have to be, and I'm sorry, like this is very impromptu that I'm doing this visually, but number
You
6
mean
for
you
me
mean a spur of the moment?
would have to be In Search of the Castaways.
Okay.
And we did when we did this last time with Annette. Wait, which one did we do it with last time?
Oh my
With
gosh.
Fred
Fred
McMurray.
McMurray.
So
Fred McMurray. Yeah.
I love them all. We have to pick numbers. This is number 6. This is where people might disagree with me, and I really think that they will.
Okay.
But number 5 for me would have to be the Moon Spinners.
I can see that. It's not the Hayley Mills film that American audiences are used to. Now, European audiences have seen a lot of Hayley in that kind of film. But yeah, no problem.
Number 4 is That Darn Cat. And I enjoyed that Darn Cat a whole lot. It's just I enjoy the other 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
This one's very hard. But so I look at this as no, it's very hard. Summer Magic is number 3 for me.
Number 3? Okay.
Yeah. And I would have to say that The Parent Trap is number 2.
All right. I'm saying that because you're number 1. It better not be like the Chalk Garden. Okay.
Number 1 is definitely my number 1 without question is Pollyanna.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, everybody knows what my number 1 is, right? That's awesome. Okay. So my number 6 is In Search of the Castaways, just because something has to be 6.
Yeah.
I guess not. The thing with In Search of the Castaways is it's hilarious, but it's just a little far-fetched. It's really out there. But there's some great songs, and who doesn't love Maurice Chevalier and Hayley Mills together?
Yeah, who doesn't enjoy it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So number 5 for me, it's like so hard. Okay, I've got them. I should have wrote these down. I had it in my head. Right. Number 5 would have to be Summer Magic for me.
Wow,
it's like, but see, 2 through 5 are interchangeable based on the mood I'm in. Like I watch Summer Magic every year in the summertime. And but see, Summer Magic is not like, how do I say this? I don't feel like it's a Hayley Mills movie. I mean, she's in it, but it's not she's not like the central character. There really is no central character
It's
in
more
this
an
movie.
ensemble.
It's more of an ensemble. So, and in Search of the Castaways is kind of the same thing, an ensemble cast. But this is just a great movie with a lot of characters like Julia, Margaret, Mariah, Osh, Gilly, and Hayley kind of all share the screen equally, I feel. So that's the only reason why I put it at number 5.
Okay.
Number 4 would have to be That Darn Cat. I mean, I love that movie. It's so much fun to watch. Number 3 is The Moon Spinners. Just, you know, we already did a show on that, but I love that mystery intrigue, and that's a little different side of Hayley in that film. Number 2 is The Parent Trap, which is a perfect film. And number 1, of course, is Pollyanna. That's my favorite Disney film ever.
It's so good. Well,
It's,
and we basically said the same thing, except we just inverted Moon Spinners and Summer Magic.
yeah. It's like I couldn't put Summer Magic ahead of those other 4. I think that's why something has to be 5. But like I said, 2 through 5 can go in any order. But
well, and like I said,
if I had to pick 1 through 6, that's what it would be.
like I said, though, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining in. We appreciate all the participation. I hope you guys had a good time. Any closing thoughts on Summer Magic?
I just love it. I really do. It's one that hardly anybody knows about, but they should.
Yeah,
so
they should. And if it was on Disney Plus, a lot more people would know about it.
I agree. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it's not on Disney Plus. It's not on Blu-ray. I broke down one day. It was like on sale on iTunes, but it was HD and it was widescreen and it was $6.99. So I'm like, yes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I need to do that too. Well, for me, my final comments on Summer Magic are just like, compare it to a Grand Circle Tour ride on the Disneyland Railroad. You know, it's that might not even be the right. I think that's the attitude I have when I'm watching it. I mean, I know Summer Magic is not Gone with the Wind. It's not got a super strong storyline, but it has a great ensemble cast, and it's full of Disney actors that you love from either other films. And it's just like a nice, fun, flowing, episodic kind of film where you just hang out in their world for like an hour and 50 minutes. And that's one thing I love about Disney films. It's just, they're such an escape for me. Like, I can enjoy being in that environment for a couple hours and just like lose myself in it. And I don't need a film that's gonna, I mean, I love watching films that are like riveting, you know, they move me to action or be better. That's what Pollyanna is for me. Pollyanna is one of those films that move me to be like a better person. But Summer Magic is just, you know, it's just one of those films where you just kind of enjoy the ride, you know. It's what do they say? It's the destiny. It's not the destination. It's the journey.
It's the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. So, like Digby says, you know, we didn't talk about Digby too much, but one of the quotes in this film I really like, and it's like, you know, in the beginning he's talking to his dad about wanting to go to the city, right? And I guess apparently he does that, and at the end he's back and he's talking to Gilly and he's like, yeah, you know, and I was out there, all this crazy big city life, you know, that people were walking around me like ants, you know, and when I came back, my dad said something like, he quoted him and said, "Mid pleasures and palaces, wherever you roam, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home." And that's really what summer magic is for me. It's like a return to home, like a return to my childhood or simpler times. So
I agree.
yeah, great movie. Great. Had fun, Jared. We went a little long, but there's so much fun to talk about with this one.
Well, I'm fine going a little long. I'm going to be gone for a bit, so I don't know when I'll be able to do another one. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not going to be like months upon months, but I'm
yeah,
glad we can get one more in.
yeah. I've got something else that's coming up here where I might not be able to do nights. So
Okay.
I yeah. So I got a job teaching a night class, a math night class. So uh,
Well, we'll figure something out.
yeah, we'll figure something out. I think next we were gonna do Puff the Magic Dragon or
Pete's
Pete's Dragon.
Yes.
But we will keep you posted on when we do that. But for now, thanks everybody. Appreciate your participation. And yeah, Ryan will be working at Disney World next time.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
awesome college program for him. Yep. And thanks everybody again. Appreciate it. And go to Disney Plus, the help menu, and scroll down. There's somewhere down there on the help site where you can give feedback and suggest that Summer Magic be added. So that's your homework. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.